On a sunlit morning, a lioness gave birth to a single cub, her strength waning as life slipped away. The cub, small and vulnerable, lay alone in the vast savanna, unaware of its lineage or the power it held within. As fate would weave its threads, a herd of horses grazed nearby, their hooves stirring the earth. Drawn by instinct or chance, the cub stumbled toward them, its tiny form blending into their midst. The horses, gentle and unassuming, accepted the stranger without question, and so the lion cub began its life among them. The cub grew, its golden fur blending with the dust kicked up by galloping hooves. It learned to graze on grass, nibbling tentatively at first, then with the same rhythm as its companions. It moved with their grace, mirrored their calm, and adopted their quiet ways. The herd became its world, and in its heart, it believed itself to be one of them. A horse, nothing more. It never roared, never hunted, never felt the stir of something fiercer within. Surrounded by the herd, it saw no reflection of its true nature, only the endless cycle of grazing and wandering under the open sky. Years passed, and the cub grew into a young lion, its mane beginning to frame a face that held untapped strength. Yet it remained gentle, content to follow the herd's rhythm, its spirit shaped by their peaceful ways. It ran with them, head lowered to the grass, unaware of the power coiled in its limbs or the fire waiting to ignite in its chest. The herd's world was safe, predictable, and it asked nothing more than to belong. So one day, as the herd grazed in a quiet valley, a shadow moved through the tall grass. A mature lion, its muscles rippling under a tawny coat, emerged with eyes sharp and commanding. The horses froze, their instincts urging flight, but the intruder's gaze fixed not on them, but on the young lion grazing among them. The sight baffled the older lion, a creature of its own kind, eating grass, moving with the herd as if it belonged. No fear emanated from the horses. They treated the young lion as one of their own. Curiosity overpowered the elder's hunger, and it resolved to uncover the truth. With a swift bound, the older lion charged, scattering the herd in a flurry of hooves and dust. The young lion, startled, tried to flee, its heart pounding with the same panic as the horses. But the elder was faster, pinning it gently but firmly to the ground. The young lion trembled, its mind racing with fear, convinced it was no different from the herd it called family. It did not fight back, only cowered, its spirit still bound to the meekness it had learned. The older lion, sensing the confusion, did not strike. Instead, it nudged the younger one, urging it to rise. With a low growl, it guided the trembling creature toward a still pool nearby, its surface a mirror under the midday sun. The young lion resisted, its body tense, but the elder's presence was unyielding. At the water's edge, the older lion pressed the younger's head down, forcing its gaze into the reflection below. For the first time, the young lion saw itself. Not the slender, grazing creature it had imagined, but a lion, broad-shouldered, with a mane that caught the light and eyes that glinted with untamed fire. The reflection was a stranger, yet it stirred something deep within, a spark that had lain dormant. The young lion's breath quickened as it stared, the truth dawning like a sunrise. It was not a horse bound to the herd's quiet life. It was a lion, born for strength, for courage, for a destiny far greater than it had known. In that moment, something broke free. The young lion threw back its head, and a roar erupted from its chest, raw and powerful, echoing across the valley. The sound shook the air, startling the distant herd, and sending birds scattering from the trees. The forest itself seemed to pause, acknowledging the awakening of a king. The young lion stood taller, its fear dissolving like mist, replaced by a surge of instinct and purpose. It was no longer the timid creature that grazed in the herd's shadow. It was a lion, fierce and unbound, its true nature unleashed. The older lion watched, its eyes gleaming with quiet pride, then turned and vanished into the tall grass, its purpose fulfilled. The young lion did not follow. It stood by the pool, its reflection now a source of strength rather than confusion. The herd, grazing in the distance, seemed smaller now, their world no longer its own. It took a step forward, then another, each one carrying the weight of its newfound identity. The savanna stretched before it, vast and full of possibilities, calling to the power it had only just discovered. The young lion did not return to the herd. It ventured into the wild, its strides growing bolder, its heart alive with purpose. It learned to hunt, to roar, to claim its place in the world. Each challenge it faced, whether the pursuit of prey or the defense of its territory, honed its strength, sharpened its instincts. The life of the herd, once its only truth, faded into memory, replaced by the reality of its own potential. It was no longer defined by those around it, but by the fire within. The lesson of the young lion's journey lingers like the echo of its roar. Many live as it once did, surrounded by others who shape their beliefs, their actions, their sense of self. They adopt the ways of those around them, mistaking their environment for their essence. They graze when they were born to hunt, follow when they were meant to lead. Yet within each lies a spark, a truth waiting to be seen. It takes a moment of clarity, a glimpse of one's true reflection, to awaken it, and when that moment comes, no force can hold back the power within. The young lion's story is a call to look beyond the herd, to seek the truth of who you are. It urges you to find your own pool, to face your reflection, and to embrace the strength that has always been yours. You may be surrounded by those who see only limits, who live as horses in a world of quiet grazing. But you are not bound by their vision. You are a lion, with a heart that roars and a spirit that soars. Awaken to it, and the world will tremble at your stride.